Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Brandi Murphy, Director of Nutrimetrics Training and Field Development. And what we're going to be talking about today is how to set up your practice for success if you are a staff member or a health professional working in a practice that is implementing nutrimetrics. And we're going to cover a lot of topics in hopefully a relatively short period of time today. And I want to share with you some of the tips for what you should be doing with your NC. And in the last session, let me pull up my screen here. I just want to make sure if somebody could just comment in the chat box here on Zoom that you can hear me. I was having a little bit of microphone difficulty at the beginning. Okay, awesome, Lisa, thank you. I appreciate that. And we should be also live in the Facebook group. And so just double checking there that we are live in the Facebook group. Awesome. Paula says we're there, so I am so happy for that. Okay, with that said, now what we're going to do is I'm going to pull up a screen share with you. I did not prepare a PowerPoint for today because what I actually want to do is show you the tools that you already have access to without having to create any type of particular PowerPoint presentation. So I'm just going to kind of what I shared a little bit about in my last session in this series, which was what is the role of the NC and how can the NC support the process of rolling out an implementation strategy for practice. And what I'm showing you right now is the 2-page overview of the implementation process. And what you see on the screen is called the implementation wheel. You'll notice it starts off with defining the vision and mission of the practice. And I can never say that properly. I always say vision, combined vision and mission, but it's defining the mission and the vision of the practice. And that's really an important step that I think a lot of practices skip. And sometimes the practitioners sat down when they first opened their account and they create, not their own account, their practice, their business, their medical office, their chiropractic office, no matter what it is, they sat down and created a vision statement, a mission statement. And then it kind of gets pushed to the side in a lot of practices and they get caught up in the day-to-day. And so when they're starting a new implementation strategy or offering something new like nutrimetrics in their practice, it's a perfect time to sit back down and revisit, is the mission that we originally started with what we have as our mission today, or does our mission need to be updated? And then how can nutrimetrics support the vision or mission we have for the practice? And so it's super important that a practice sits down and they not only revisit, are we accomplishing our vision and mission for our practice overall, but how are we going to use the nutrimetrics system to support that? And then share that concept with the staff. Too often, we have nutrimetrics health professionals that decide to implement the program in their practice. And then all of a sudden it's this rush to implement and an NC comes in and sits with the staff, but the staff never really gets told why the practice is implementing or what the objective is or what the goal is. What type of patient outcomes are we looking to support? What type of patient outcome improvements are we expecting? And why is this an important tool to add to our arsenal in this particular practice, that to be able to help the patients get healthier or feel better or sleep better or whatever that goal is, right? And so remember to go back with your NC and talk about the vision and mission of the practice. And then also bring the staff into that conversation. Let the staff know that there's a reason why we're doing this. And it's not just a business decision. It's something that supports the overall mission of the practice. Then we're going to select the products and services that are going to help to support that vision and mission. We're going to put together an implementation plan and marketing strategy. We're going to identify which patients are a good fit for the products that we've selected. We're going to put in a strategy of how to engage those patients so that we introduce the right products to the right people without feeling salesy. It's not about becoming a salesperson. It's about matching products to the patients who need them. That's really what this is about. And then measuring the outcomes. Are the patients getting the outcomes that you had hoped for? And if not, do we need to make adjustments in dosing? Do we need to offer a different product? But we're going to measure it no different than if you started a patient on a prescription medication and you might go back and do blood work in 3 to 6 months and see, is it giving you the results you want? And if it's not, you don't just say, okay, we're not going to address this anymore. You just make an adjustment to the protocol. We can do the same thing with nutrimetrics. And then we focus on growth initiatives. So as a reminder, there is a previous session in this series on what is the role of the NC and how can they support this process. And then there's also a previous session in this series on how to use the tools in the unfranchised back office. So we're going to go over a little bit of that today, but what I really want to focus on is things like, how do you get set up for success? And so if you're following this, you may want to go back through. I'm going to show you another tab here and hopefully it displays. So what I'm showing you right now is in the greater version, the longer, more expanded version of the Health Professional Implementation Guide. Instead of just being the 2-page overview, there's a 38-page document called the HP Implementation Guide. And if you scroll all the way down to page 30, what I want to show you today is the initial account setup checklist. And this is designed for you and your NC to make sure that you don't skip any steps in creating a successful implementation strategy. Now, you may have already had your account for years. Maybe you've had your account for months. Maybe you've had your account for 5 days. No matter where you are in the process, it's helpful sometimes to go back through and make sure, do we need to make any adjustments to things that we've already done? So, for example, if you already have an account, you've already done the initial setup. That should be checked off in the implementation guide. Did you go in and set up the auto renewal process? And this is something that is easy to forget because people don't remember oftentimes that we are an annual subscription to the business. And so oftentimes, if you're like me, I shop online all the time, which means I'm subject to credit card fraud quite a bit. And I seem to get a new credit card from my credit union, my personal card, like every 6 months. Every 6 months, they call me with a security check. And even though I say, yes, that was me, yes, that was me, yes, that was me, yes, that was me, they'll say something like, oh, you used your card at a gas station that's been known to have fraud, so we need to send you a new credit card. Well, you need to make sure that if you're getting a new credit card and it's the card associated with your unfranchised account, that you go in and change out all of the auto ship orders that you have on that credit card, your annual renewal that you have on that credit card, so that you don't automatically, so you don't forget something. The automatic annual renewal helps as long as you stay on top of making sure the appropriate credit card information is there. Then it walks you through making sure that you've set up your nutrimetrics.com website. I have to tell you, when we do our live and in-person health professional product and implementation trainings, and there might be 75 health professionals in a room, I go over usually on Saturday afternoon during lunch and I start talking about implementation with our health professionals. And I ask them, how many of you know what your Nutrimetrics portal address is? And a lot of them don't know what it is. And so we want to make sure that if whether you're using your portal actively as part of your implementation strategy or not, that you take the time to go in and set up your nutrimetrics.com portal. So I'm going to show you where to do it. I'm going to stop sharing here. We're going to come back to this, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm now going to share with you my Firefox screen. And we're going to go into, if I can move my little Zoom window here, we're going to go into the unfranchised back office. I'm logged in as me in a test account that I have that's listed as a health professional. And I'm going to show you where to set up your nutrimetrics.com portal. You're going to go under the My Account tab. You're going to go under the Nutrimetrics option, and you're going to go to HP Portal Admin. Now, mine is already set up in this test account, but if you are going here for the first time, it's going to walk you through setting up your portal. Since mine is already set up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the portal just so I can show you a few things on this page. And of course, my internet's being a little wonky, of course, when you're live. I hope you're seeing my stream okay, but my websites are loading very slowly. Come on, go. Anyways, on this portal, you have the ability to change your address or your practice name or how your own personal name displays. And so let's say, for example, and let's just see, I'm making sure somebody's chatting with me. Okay, great. If you want to make sure that your post nominals are displaying correctly. So there's a place on this page where you can say, yes, display post nominals, or you can type your post nominals the way that you want them directly after your name. So there's different ways that you can set up how your name displays properly. And of course, it's not going to go live for me now, which is the beauty of doing, oh, there we go. We're the beauty of going live and showing a live website demo. So you want to make sure that your name is in. You can upload a photo so that when a patient or a visitor to this website clicks on My Health Professional, they can see what you look like. You can put in your business address. You can put in a link to your website. You can put in, if you want to offer, put in an explanation of all the different services you provide or insurances you accept. You can change your hours. And then you can go ahead, and I just want to show you a couple of things here. This is where I was talking about if you want to change your post nominals, you can put either display post nominals, or you can just type them after your name with a comma, however you want to display them. Now, a couple of other things to point out. I did share this on the last video when we were going through the unfranchised tools. You can opt in. This is called a double opt-in procedure. We do create PC marketing emails. What do I mean by that? Educational emails that go out to preferred customers of Nutrimetrics products, which are patients of our health professionals. And so we give our health professionals the ability to say, yes, I am okay with my patients receiving educational materials from Nutrimetrics, or no, I'm not okay with my patients receiving educational materials from Nutrimetrics. So if you want to unclick this box, that means that your patients won't receive any emails other than order delivery, tracking updates or shipping updates for order confirmations. If you want them to be able to receive educational materials, like, let's say it's Heart Health Month and we send out an email about protecting your heart, and it might include links to the heart health kit. If you want them to be able to receive things like that, then check this. If you don't, uncheck this. You can attach merchant account information here if you have an iTransact account. And you can also save your settings by clicking Update Portal Settings. Now, with that said, I'm going to pull up the nutrimetrics.com website. And again, now we are on the page that I just edited on Zoom here. And I want to be able to show you just a few things. Once you have your website set up, you should always be able to see your practice name or whatever you chose to have displayed right here under your health professional presented by. Now you have to be logged in as a PC to see that. So if you go under my account, I'm already logged in as a PC. And if I click on my health professional, I will be able to see any of that information that I just saved on that website portal admin. I would be able to see that all here. There's the address I had typed in. If I would have had more information there, it would have displayed there, okay? So you can update that. Now, also, I want you to be aware, this is really tricky. Let's say that we're looking for OPC3, information on OPC3. I'm gonna search for it. And let's say you wanted to send this to a patient. If you are not logged in as a PC and you just click on OPC3, and you just try to grab the information the way you normally would by copying the address and highlighting it, hitting copy, and then pasting it somewhere, you're going to lose some of the information that actually ties the link to your portal. So what I want to teach you and your staff to do is, instead of grabbing the address from the top of the screen, I want to teach you to scroll down to the bottom of the page. And at the bottom of the page, there is a little button here that says link to this page. It really just looks like the little paperclip link. And when you click there, you get the entire URL that has all of the cookie information that links that potential customer back to you, that the person that made the purchase back to you. So if you're going on your practice website, for example, and you're linking off to the Nutrimetrics homepage, you want to make sure that you use this link instead of just typing in your website address. That way it's always tied back to your portal, which can be a little bit confusing for people. Now, I'm also going to make the suggestion, while we're talking about setting up your nutrimetrics.com page, in the HP implementation guide, you will see that we have resources on how to create a PC ID for your patients, how to register them as a preferred customer. And you can either do that in the unfranchised back office, or you can do it on the staff back office, which is on nutrimetrics.com. When you go to the account option here, there's a little button that, I have to log out. If I log out and I'm on the home page, I go here to where it says account, and I would hit staff. If I click that, and we're going to do a whole nother session on that, so I'm not going to get into that with you right now, but if we click on staff, then a staff member can go ahead and place orders on behalf of patients for them right there in the staff back office, to make sure that the patient gets registered on the appropriate account, to make sure that the patient is linked appropriately to your account. We can all do that right there on the staff back office, which makes it nice and easy. What I'm going to also suggest is that if you're registering your customers, your patients on nutrimetrics.com, I want you to be aware that they also get access to, whether you promote it or not, an account on shop.com, which is part of our parent company's website. So let's say that they are buying OPC3 from you through your Nutrimetrics site. And then without you even realizing it, they decide to go online and search for, I don't know, a pair of Adidas sneakers. And they go searching for Adidas sneakers. And as a result, in their search efforts, they find something that's available on shop.com and they click on it. Since they're already registered as a PC with you, if they click on that, even if they purchase from shop.com that you didn't send them to, you would still get credit for that, which is kind of interesting because they're not trying to buy their sneakers from you. That would be kind of weird, but by nature of the relationship with Nutrimetrics and Market America and shop.com, if they make those purchases, you still get credit for it, even if it happens by default. Okay, so with that, I'm going to stop sharing this section of my screen and we're going to go back into the checklist for setting up your account. So you're going to make sure that you set up your Nutrimetrics website. You want to make sure that you talk to your NC or your senior health professional business partner about assigning your BV and IBV placement. And what does that mean? That means, let's say that you have a patient that goes onto your nutrimetrics.com website and makes a purchase. If you have the free e-commerce where the process that the order is going to automatically get pushed through to Nutrimetrics by the order process, you need to assign where you want that business volume to go. And you can create an auto placement rule for that in your back office. So we already talked about setting up your shop.com website. We already talked about the staff login area for nutrimetrics.com. And if you are using an auto ship to have products sent to your practice for inventory purposes or for your own personal use, there's information on how to set that up as well in the HP implementation guide. We talked about creating PCIDs or a patient ID number. What a lot of our practitioners do is they order business cards with their web portal address on it, and then they hand those out to patients. And so once the patient is registered as a preferred customer in the Nutrimetrics system, they now are given an ID form, which is basically their email. And so you just remind them what email they registered with, and you put it on the business card to give to them. We have all these different posters and support materials that are available to you, and I'm going to show you some examples of that in a few minutes. And then we're going to look at how do we get the staff trained. But again, we're going to go through the implementation guide and go through the checklist and make sure that we're hitting all of the boxes to make sure we're setting the practice up for success. Now, let me stop sharing here. We're going to go back into unfranchise. And when we go back into unfranchise, the next thing that I want to show you is when we were talking about, let me pull it up here, trying to multitask is not working. There we go. When we were talking about ordering in the last session that I did, which was on using your tools, I showed you some simple cheat sheets or cheats for ordering. And so let's just show you that again as a quick reminder. If you go to order products and you want to order the Nutrimetrics brand and you're listed as a health professional with us, which most of you that are watching this are, if you just type OPC, let's say that's the example that we're going with today. If you type OPC in the search results, you're going to see some possible product matches here, but these pictures don't match the Nutrimetrics brand. In order to actually order the Nutrimetrics brand, you're just going to click on the search suggestion, or you're going to hit return. And when you hit return, that's when you're going to see the search results come up that are Nutrimetrics branded. Okay, so make sure that you're ordering the Nutrimetrics brand there. If you click on this and you want to order, you can drop ship the products to the patients, or you can have them come to you for your order inventory. Now that brings up the next topic, which is something I wanted to talk about today, which is we do have an order inventory management requirement that we have to fill every quarter. And even our health professionals need to complete their ordering inventory management. So I wanted to show you very briefly how quick and easy it is to use. When you go under ordering, you will see that there is a tab here that says inventory management. When you click on inventory management, anything that you have ordered in the last quarter that hasn't already been assigned is going to show up here. Now, these are only the things that you are ordering that are shipping to your address, which is your probably your practice address. If you're drop shipping the products to your patients directly, they're not going to show up in your order inventory here. If you have a patient go on your website and order from nutrimetrics.com, those products are not going to show up here. They'll already be showing up in your receipts area for your your unfranchised back office. But these are things that I have ordered since the quarter started that I haven't assigned yet. And what I want to show you is we wanted to create this to be really easy for our practitioners. We recognize that many of our practitioners already have their own inventory management tools in place. They already have a way of tracking their sales, whether it's through their electronic health record system, whether it's a simple spreadsheet that they're using. And we don't want our practitioners to have to do double duty, but from an FTC requirement, our company is required to make sure that we, and the Direct Selling Association, to make sure that we're showing that we're actually moving products to our end consumers. The company has to be able to track that that product is either being held in inventory somewhere or it's going to a customer. So let's say that I'm a health professional and I'm in a health professional test account right now. So I'm going to see something that other unfranchised owners don't have access to. But I've ordered 4 of the DNA Miracles OPC3 Chews pouches. 2 of them have already been assigned. They were sold to patients, but 2 of them are still in my inventory. If I want to designate them as still in my inventory, I'm going to go in and say, okay, I want to select the remaining 2, and I'm going to take the remaining 1 of this collagen box right here, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the page, and I'm going to select sold to practice. This means that I sold it to my practice. I ordered the product for the purpose of inventorying it for my practice to sell to my patients. So all I'm doing is selecting the quantity, selecting sold to practice, and hitting save. Now I can do this as maybe every week I have somebody go in and do this, maybe once a month I have somebody go in and do this, but by the end of the calendar quarter, I need to make sure that somebody's gone in and designated all of the different products as either being, if I go down here, I can say they were, I have to pick something. So we'll look here at this fish oil. We're gonna look, I have 1 fish oil ready to be assigned. I can say that I used it for personal use. I can say that it's in my inventory and I want to keep it in my inventory. I can say I gave it away as promotional or advertising use. Maybe it was damaged or expired, or if I'm a health professional, it was sold to practice. So in this case, I'm going to say keep in inventory. I still have that on my shelf, so I'm going to assign. I can go through and select as many of these that I want to and do sold to practice or keep in inventory or used for advertising purposes. But by the end of each quarter, I need to go in and assign the product as one of those categories. So just make sure that you have, if you need help with that, your NC or your senior business partner will help you do that the first time that you need to go through that. Okay, some other things that I just wanted to talk about today while we're talking about setting up your practice for success. Remember, your NC sat down with you. They helped you get clear on what your vision and mission is of your practice and how Nutrimetrics can support that. They helped you determine which products are going to be the best fit for your practice. They maybe helped you create a small inventory of those products. They showed you how to track your inventory. And now you're putting together an implementation plan. Maybe you want to have some sort of way of tracking your sales each week to make sure that you are hitting the goals that you have for your practice. And so on downloads in Unfranchised, let me stop sharing here. I'm going to pull up a different tool. On downloads, we have a very simple, now this is just there as an example. You don't have to use this one. If you have one that you already are using, you can use that. But we have a very simple weekly sales tracker. And so it's an Excel document. You can find it in downloads on Unfranchised. And it just, if you're inventorying 3 products, you would put the different names of the products here. You would put what your cost is. You would put what you're charging the patient for them. And then let's say your goal is to sell 2 of them a day. On Monday, you would put how many you sold. On Tuesday, you would put how many you sold. On Wednesday, you would put how many you sold. On Thursday, you would put how many you sold. Maybe you're doing this once a week, but going back and looking through, you can track to see if you're on target for hitting your goals of helping 10% of your patients get put on the wellness program, as an example. So again, this is something that we have just as an example of how simple a sales tracker can be. I know Sarah Tegender is working on creating an updated version of this, which will probably launch very soon. Just another type of sales tracker that can be used, but maybe you have one that you're already using. But what gets tracked gets progress. And if you're not tracking it, it's really easy to just let things fall to the side. So I wanted to be able to show you a simple type of sales tracker that we have that's referenced in the HP implementation guide, and how easy it is to use that. And then, so once you have your products selected, one of the other things you want to talk about with your NC is how can you best display those products. So again, I am going to screen share one other thing with you, and we're almost done. I'll open it up to see if there are any questions. I'm actually going to go back in to my Firefox browser, and we're going to actually look in Nutrimetrics Facebook's page. So I am on the official NC support group on Facebook. And so if you're not already in there and you're a staff member or a health professional, we do have a group for health professionals as well. We do talk a lot about business building type stuff in the NC group. You're welcome to request to join that. Just make sure that you let us know when you request to join that you are a health professional or a staff member that's working with a health professional that's implementing nutrimetrics. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you, if you scroll down to the photos section and you click on photos and just scroll up a little bit to where you can choose between single photos or albums, I want you to click on the albums button. And we have an album that we created that is designed to help give you ideas for marketing displays or education center displays. And so both Sarah and I, as we travel around the country and visit different practices, we always love to take product pictures or product display pictures so that we can share them with others. And we also have a lot of NCs and HPs who have uploaded their own images of what their displays look like, or what their wellness workshops look like, or different things that they're doing in their practice to introduce the products or services to their patients. And so if you want to scroll through in the Facebook group, the different photo albums that we have, this is a great one to give you ideas of what people are doing. So here's one, for example, this is going back to February when it was Heart Health Month, different ways that people were promoting Heart Health Month, or people doing different patient product sampling sessions where they were teaching people how to take the isotonics products and giving them a sample taste test of it. But all of these things can give you ideas for creating a successful implementation strategy and what it's looking like in other people's practices. So I wanted to share that with you. And then just let me go through my notes. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover with you today in these little tips that can make or break your successful implementation strategy. Again, remember to keep your NC engaged in the process. They don't get paid by the company unless business volume is generated by the accounts that they're working with. So they have a vested interest in helping you be successful, right? That's the way our compensation plan is structured. It's performance-based. It's help that their role is to manage and help the people that they open accounts for to implement the program and the practice. Now, that doesn't mean that they come in and work in the practice for you. That doesn't mean that they're the ones introducing the products to the patients for you, but they should be able to sit down with you and help you create a successful implementation strategy. And we have a ton of tools that can help with that process. If you need help, you can reference that HP implementation guide that I shared with you today. And you can also reach out to us at nutrimetrics@nutrimetrics.com for additional support if you have questions. I'm just going to check the chat window here. I don't see any questions on Zoom. I hope this was helpful, but if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat box. I'm just going to go back into the Facebook group here a section and see if anybody that's joined us live has any questions. And if not, we'll go ahead and end the broadcast. Oh, Teresa, I'm sorry the slides were blurry. I think that had something to do with slow internet connection today, but thank you for letting me know. Okay, great. And you guys have a great day. I look forward to seeing you on another session. And thank you for joining us in our learning management series. Hope you guys are doing great. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you again soon.